I don't want to play those games anymore. Rules, which I stuck to a few years. Everything is enough tired. Got it accumulated for a long time and led to a deadlock. I think in this process, everyone can identify yourself. In my case, I had to willfully give up the idea that I draw full paintings. Here I had to step over myself, and it seems in a long, dark tunnel, the light dawned, and hope. This light is not the light from the muzzle cut of the machine gun. Maxim, shorter topic of commitment, works very well. Agreed with Natalia from Rome. What am I doing by today? Painting in new technique, rather, in my old technique, in natural technology of sketching. I certainly procrastinized. I certainly reached the last day. But who would doubt? We are all like that. And that's on the last day I stand in front of a leaf on which nothing is done. In a few hours, call with Rome, and I from hopelessness start to do so. Let no shit work out. But I do as much as I can. First, delicately careful, but the closer it was called. And you need to understand that I didn't have time for anything. I needed to do so. The leaf as a whole, at least, looked pretty. So that's in an amazing way. I am the solution for my new technique, found in the last 15 minutes. Before the call. Turns out to be in this technique. You can draw very fast. Turns out very quickly. You can fill out a sheet. Turns out my sketching technique, which I usually use in Sketch, perfectly can work on huge sheets. And most importantly, turns out that me it again. Like it, stunned. As if I would be driven by this activity again. I like drawing again. And for this I had to discard that I worked perfectly all this time. Discard and not even try to ride those skills that I have accumulated over the years. Discard technique, on which I earned so well. But it's taking this to a new level. Perhaps that's why the sketch is not read yet. But there is already a clear understanding in the head. Let's just go ahead. Gallery of paintings, see in the description of the video and in the profile. My name is Eduard Kichigin. How to ensure constant sales. Something awesome heard yesterday. Don't know, it sounds like super obvious. I do not understand how to follow it. Konstantin Karski. He was drawing an analogy with a bird. Sales analogy. Here is the bird, and as long as she's alive, she will shit always. And to ensure this process, you just need to feed the bird, and this process cannot be stopped. It's just natural, and you can't do anything about it. If you draw an analogy with sales, any processing, then in order to provide yourself with these, here are the unstoppable processes. You need to feed this bird of yours. That is, draw an analogy of bird shit. Type dash, you get money. Some processes provide this, and that's Harsky talking. Life activity result, and you need to rest on those processes which provide this result, and then this result will be naturally achieved and will continue the entire life cycle of this bird. That is even easier, uncertain and inevitable. If you engage in processes that provide results, then results will be achieved. Sounds kind of primitive and stupid. In fact, you need to find and isolate those processes which exactly provide you with this one. Unstoppable. Natural image. Way to get that. What you need. And engage in the first stage of these processes. Feed the bird. But only a bird should be exactly like that. Natural activity, which is unstoppable, leads here to such a desired result. In general, I listened yesterday. For some reason, I had a brain gap. Well, I guess I'm bad at explaining. That in general, then I did not convey the thought. In short, what Harsky says about birds. This is interesting. My name is Eduard Kichigin. There are obvious problems and attempts to make a difference. I think everyone has this happening. When you do you, and before the results, how far was it in relation to my activities? It happens next. I somehow buried myself in my drawing technique and I decayed that change and decided to go back somewhere strongly to the origins of my technique with which it all began and try to draw a picture in technique which does not imply life hacks used to those who paints with watercolor technique. I think everything should be in a clean, hard schedule. Monstrously time-consuming task, even more time-consuming than the one I used before. But I think Wedge Bouncer, gonna do this sheet now, or I'll get easier radically, or I'll find a new way to create my huge paintings, or I'll understand something, what I didn't realize, until tried walking the hard way shorter. I think if nothing works or everything's stalled, need to take a few steps back and see the situation from the outside. I hope to have time for everything before the evening. Listen, and you bury. Do you resist? To no avail? Write in the comments if so. A gallery of my paintings in the description of the video and in the. My name is Eduard Kichigin.